All right, everyone, welcome back. CrossFit Control Podcast. Today we got the Rileys. You're on video too, so no, she's hiding behind me on the video. So we got Scott and Patricia Riley, also known as P. Riley, if you hear that throughout the episode. But we're continuing the theme of interviewing members, preferably members who have been here for a year or more. And I think you guys have an interesting story because your whole family goes here. Both the girls go here. You both do group classes. Patricia attends the 6 a.m. Scott comes to the evening classes, so that way they can both get their workouts in. The girls do the kids class in the afternoon. But I want to talk about that, but I also want you guys to go into how did you find us? What was your... I want you to talk about your blood clot, how you found us, and what your worries were getting back into CrossFit. If we could dive into even the first couple months of you being here, and after we got you in the doors, and then how we got Patricia in the doors, and how all the kids do it, and how they like CrossFit. So
it was before the pandemic, probably 2019-ish. I had went to another gym. Had some pain in my left leg. It went on for a few days. I told Patricia, I said, "Listen, I'm gonna go to the emergency room because I'm worried I'm not gonna wake up in the morning." Luckily I did. I had a blood clot, and there were several small blood clots throughout my leg. So I took some time off. COVID hit. I gained a bunch of weight, did nothing but sit at home, work from home, work in my kitchen, which was a terrible habit because the fridge is right there, all the snacks and goodies. So I had to do something. Driving by, I had seen the great big CrossFit sign on the side of the building. Got a hold of Devan, stopped in. At that point in time, I didn't feel comfortable coming into group classes yet. I was, believe it or not, 400 pounds, just not in a good mental state. Talked to Heather, who was here at the time. She was a coach, a nutrition person. Started seeing her once a month, twice a month, doing video because at that time COVID was still pretty bad. She really helped me get on the right path as far as nutrition. I started walking around the neighborhood. Once I felt a little more comfortable, I came in and started doing personal sessions. I got down to 350 pretty quickly. At that point in time, I felt pretty comfortable coming in, and doing the classes. I had concerns, though, because, everybody has that, opinion that CrossFit is for only the fittest on earth, and that's totally not true.
do you mind talking about your previous experience with CrossFit and how it varies here?
Yeah, so it's a huge difference. When I went to the other place, there was no scaling. Everybody, the workout was on the board. There was no whiteboard briefing. There was a little bit of stretching in the beginning, and then you went into the workout, and you kind of did what you could, but there was no bus stops, as Devan and the coaches use here. You find your bus stop. That was...
So what would you do if, like the workout was Diane, and it was, hey, we're going to do 21-15-9 handstand push-ups and deadlifts. What would you do as someone who's coming in fresh to this, not even knowing what is a handstand push-up?
Yeah, so I would do push-ups because there was no way on God's green earth I would ever do a handstand push-up. And there were other people there that would help assist, so other members that would see you struggling and say, hey, just do this, or maybe you should start with this weight. But there was not the initial, here, at CrossFit Control, you get the coaching. It doesn't matter if you've been here 10 times, 100 times. You're still going to go over the same movements each time because you can improve, and you forget things. So it's good to come in here, get the refresher. Yeah.
So when you say we go over the same movements, even though we might be doing the clean, however, it's the progressions work, which is why we do similar progressions every time, but we do it slightly different every time, so you guys are still learning something new.
Yeah, there is definitely not a time that you come in and you don't learn something.
Do you feel like, even you've been here about 2 years now, right?
Yeah, pretty close to 2 years.
You still find yourself continuing to get better?
Every day. I got some push-ups last
Yeah.
night, which was a struggle, and there's little things that the coaches here, based on experience and their training, can take a look at and see ways to help you. It's pretty amazing. And I was pretty pumped last night when I went home. And
yeah, it was because I asked you, I was like, what's your floor press? And you told me, I said, well, you should be able to do push-ups at this point.
Yeah.
And so we went over, we did that that hollow drill where you were doing the sliders, and that taught you to keep that tension. And after that, you were doing them. And so it was a big win for me too. I mean, I don't know. I was like pretty excited for you because it was one of your goals. Like you had 3 goals for me, and that was one of them. And you can do it now, which it's a huge improvement.
And that slider drill, definitely, I felt that this morning.
Really?
When I got out of bed, I could tell.
Yeah, that's a new. I just made that up, but it teaches you to keep the tension. So, Scott, you started with us. Did you start with nutrition and not the personal training? Because I know you were doing nutrition and personal training for a while.
I started with nutrition, yeah.
Okay.
Just because I was in such bad shape. I could have come in at that weight and been fine, and you guys could have, worked with me. But I had concerns with COVID too, and, we didn't really do a whole lot. We have 2 little ones. I have a grandfather that's not doing so well, and he hasn't been doing well for years. So we tried to limit our time out and about.
Is your perception different now? So you talked about like you were worried that you were too out of shape to start with the group classes. Knowing what you know now, how we do things here, is that perception different?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just hearing when you guys go through your bus stops, that makes so much sense. Because not everybody's at the same level. So you pick the level that you're at, and you work towards the next. And, you get in here 4 or 5 days a week, and, that next level's going to come.
Yeah.
And it's acceptable to do knee push-ups.
Try to get a little bit closer.
And it's acceptable to do knee push-ups instead of handstand push-ups. As long as you're doing what you can do and you do your best, nobody else is going to care. And I think that's a big fear of people coming into a CrossFit gym. Like, what is everybody going to think if I come in not knowing anything? Well, I came in not knowing anything, and, everybody's so welcoming and supportive that it doesn't matter what level you are at. You will still get a good workout, and you will not get hurt.
So that's a common thing we do here is people will say, I don't want anybody watching me because I'm out of shape. I'm like, trust me, they are not paying attention to you at all.
Yeah.
I want you to go over one more thing, and then I want Patricia to tell her side of it, like how you went home and convinced her to come in and do her intro. But how many times did I bug you when you weren't coming in?
Yeah, so once I decided to go into group classes, getting here is one part, and then, this community, once you get enamored into this group of people, there's no way that you're going to turn your back because these people are fantastic. But when I first started, I was still in that place where I didn't feel comfortable, with myself, and there was some definitely depression there because of where we were, as far as COVID and myself. And Devan, he kept on, reaching out to me time and time again. And I think he got tired of hearing, I'll be there. So he forced me into a date. He said, okay, so you're going to be here. Can I count on you on Saturday? And I said, yes, I'll be there on Saturday. And I did show up, and then the rest is pretty much history. It's been a great experience.
I made you promise.
Yep.
Like, you promise you're going to be here on
Yes.
Saturday.
Yep.
And I think what's interesting about that part of the story is I did not know you at the time. Like, now I would consider you guys close friends. I mean, I see you 5 days a week. I know you two on a personal level now, but at that time, you were a number on, I talk about this all the time, like you were a number on a spreadsheet, and I could have just let you go.
Right.
But I signed up for this job because I really want to help people. And that was my thought. If I could just get you in the door, I know I could change your life.
Yep.
And I think about that quite a bit. Like the people who I did not give up on, who I kept not bothering, but like I just kept reaching out. And how you think about, like, if I did not make that phone call to you, how different would your life be?
I hate
right
to
now?
even think about where we would be as the two of us, and then as a family. And because it really has become a family affair with us, and it's our kids. And Patricia can talk about this, but if we come home on a Tuesday or Thursday and say, listen, we're not going to, the weather's bad, or one of the girls doesn't feel well, or she or I don't feel well, they are furious. And the confidence. Well, go ahead. I'll let her talk.
So can you start from pre-intro? So like, tell me, what did Scott say when he came home, and how terrified were you to come in and do your intro?
Well, I knew what experience he had previously, so that was in my head, obviously. But then once he started coming here, he kept saying, it's different. It's different. I know you're going to love it. Probably 15 years ago, I went to a gym and I did all the classes and I loved it. So he said, the group setting, the group classes, I promise if you try it, you're going to like it. Okay. So I scheduled my no sweat intro with Devan, and I came after work one day and I was terrified. I feel like most people are intimidated when you walk in here and you see the rig and you see the weights and you don't know what to do with anything. But I talked to Devan and I signed up that day and I did my on-ramp, and I'm over 250 classes in.
So, and she's an ambassador.
And I'm an ambassador.
Finally got to use that blue shirt.
Yes.
Did you start with 3 days a week when you jumped into group classes?
Yes. I started with 3 days a week. Thursday was my long day at work. So I was coming like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, but I wasn't coming on Friday because I said, I was tired. I had a long day the day before. And then whenever I did a goal review with Devan, he said, just try to come 3 days a week. Definitely come on Fridays. Even if you're tired, just move. Coming and moving is going to be better than not coming at all. Well, 3 days turned into 5 days, and now it's my routine, and I don't know what I would do if I didn't come.
Did you notice that you felt better after you went from 3 days a week to 5 days a week?
Oh, absolutely. Now if I miss a day, it not only makes me feel bad physically, but the impact that coming here has on your mental health is just unexplainable. Between the people, between the workouts, and just feeling so much better.
There have been plenty of mornings where you came in and you said, I thought about not coming in today. But after you get started, has there ever been a day that you regretted coming in and getting your hour workout in?
No way. Because there are days the alarm goes off and you just think, oh, it's cold, it's early, because I go to the 6 a.m. every day. And then I hear Devan in my head that says, just come in, just move. And I come in because if I don't, I will feel terrible, and I will have people checking on me asking, was your absence planned? Is everything okay? Like, people care. They care where you are, if you're not here. It's just a different lifestyle, totally different lifestyle than we had before.
Yeah. Now, can we talk about how it impacted? So Scott started, and then P. Riley joined, and then I think the girls were part of the initial 4, right? Right? It was the 2 Riley girls, Cash and Zoe.
And Fluff, I think.
Was part of the initial
I think
4?
he was.
I don't know.
No?
I don't know. I remember I told Matt, I was like, if we can get 4, we can put it on the schedule. And so we just asked around, and you said the girls would want to try it. So I mean, they've done it since day 1. Can you talk about how that has impacted your family? Try to move. You can also adjust it. There you go. You can pull it towards you.
So when Dominic was in 1st grade, she had a really hard time with her teacher. She was upset all the time. She had a lot of anxiety, up to the point where she was losing a ton of weight. She was getting counseling. And I really feel like since she started here, her overall confidence has just shot up. She can do things that she never thought she would be able to do. She loves to come here. She loves her friends, just the atmosphere, all of the good examples that they have. She did a competition. I mean, didn't even hesitate when I asked her, do you want to do this competition? Absolutely. And she did things that I would never have expected her to do.
You and I were more nervous than she was.
She wasn't nervous at all.
No, she was not.
Hey, our new website's coming out today, and there will be a kids page. And that picture, when I met with the developer, they said that is the perfect picture for the kids page. It's the one where Matt and the 4
the
of them
one on
are.
the wall.
Yeah. Well, actually, we have it hung up there.
Picture.
Yeah, and Matt loves coaching the kids. Like, even when life got busy for him, and he still dedicates that Tuesday and Thursday to the kids class. And as we saw last week, if Matt's not here, it is not good. I thought Bella was going to lose her mind.
She's definitely his buddy.
How do you guys make it? So, girls are in school. You both have full-time jobs. How do you manage to do that while also trying to raise a family, make sure dinner's ready, get people out the door in the morning? Like, how does it work with? She's leaving at 6, so Scott, I'm guessing you're getting the girls ready, and then he's coming in the afternoon, so you're probably meeting the girls.
We make it work. I mean, the night before, Patricia gets with the girls and they pick out the clothes for the next day, and then she gets up and goes to the gym, and I get them up and get them breakfast and pack their lunch. And then, from the time she gets home, it's 90 miles. Yeah. But she jumps in the shower, and by that time they're dressed and their teeth are brushed, and she takes them and drops them off at my mom's, who that's where they catch the bus.
So you actually run home after class?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, yeah, there's another one that we can use when people have an excuse.
I leave here usually at 5 after 7, get home between 15 and 20 after. I've gotten my shower down to an art. It's like less than 10 minutes. Get ready, get my stuff, and we're out the door at 7:45, drop them off, go to work. And then on nights that if he takes the 4:30 class, I'll go get the girls, or they'll be dropped off here before their kids' class on Tuesday and Thursday. It took a while to get in that routine with the school and everything like that, but I mean, we have it down to a science, I think.
Yeah.
Why do you do it? I mean, it could be easier to just say, that's a lot of running. I am going to just stay home, or, 6 a.m. is too early and I don't have enough time to get the girls to school. Why do you guys prioritize it so much?
I just really like how I feel since I've started doing the class regularly. I like to feel refreshed after I do the class. I like to be able to do things with the girls outside, go on walks, play with them in the yard, and not be out of breath like I was before.
Yeah, physically, it's great, but I think even more than that, mentally for me, to be able to get in here and to work out, and to work out with your buddies and your friends and people who push you to be a better person, a better version of yourself. It's pretty amazing to come in here and to see everybody, and you really look forward to it. And if you don't get it, if you don't come in here and get that friendship and that sweat in and, that hour workout, it impacts just about everything with us. You don't want to be around us if we've had to miss the week. I
feel like people can tell.
Yeah.
If we didn't.
Yep.
If I didn't come at 6 a.m. They're like, did you go to the gym today? Like, no, I didn't. They're like, well, I can tell because your attitude is completely different than it normally is.
Well, it's funny because, Scott, you work from home, so you don't get to see your coworkers too often. But, like, you'll come in and you'll have these stories of these people are like, oh, I can't do this. And then, what was it, the Halloween party where they couldn't carry stuff across the parking lot, so you were carrying boxes, and then they can't take the trash out, so Patricia takes the trash out. Like, Zach Marsh said it once, what we do in here doesn't get easier because you move forward in progressions, you increase your weight, you decrease your time, you do more reps, you move with better range of motion. It never gets easier in here because you're constantly striving to be 1% better. However, life outside of here does get much easier. I remember, Scott, when you came in, you were excited that you were able to mow the grass without stopping.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yep.
I often wonder if people think as they age that is just what life is supposed to be like, but we don't have to live that way.
Yeah, we went to Seneca Rocks last month just as a family, a quick little weekend trip, and we took the hike. It was just 1.3 miles, but it was pretty
Each
aggressive
way, right?
uphill.
A lot of switchbacks.
Yeah, and it was, the girls were complaining way more than we were, and they just got bored. I mean, they weren't tired; they were just bored of the same switchbacks and stuff. But
they were able to do it.
Yeah, 3 years
7 and
ago,
9.
I tried to do that, and I made it maybe 100 yards.
Really?
Yeah, I was in bad shape.
Yeah.
And, I was sweating and my legs were hurting. And, I said, well, I'm just going to go ahead and turn back. And
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Do you know, I every time I've done that trail, I take that weight vest and I am the crazy person wearing a weight vest up the trail.
Yeah.
But it is a hard trail. I mean, there's so many switchbacks. Every time I'm like, I'm going to count them, and then I lose track.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's cool because, like we said, people, they just expect that because they hear it from other people. Oh, you're getting older. You're going to have aches and pains. And that is true, but you can minimize that.
Yeah.
And I think some of the stuff we do as far as prioritizing warm-ups and the cool downs to make sure our body is, 1, primed for the workout, and 2, recovered for the next day, really helps you guys to be able to come in 5 days a week.
Yeah, I have noticed, and this is one thing that as I've gotten older, the warm-up time, and we focus a lot on that, on the warm-ups and the finishers and stretching, but, at my age, I feel like I need to get in a few minutes earlier to warm up and stretch a little bit more.
Because both of you have had some minor aches and pains, can you talk about how I'm not a miracle worker, but I am?
I'll let
yeah.
I've had a couple things. A while back, I came in and I said, Devin, my arm, it hurts, like right here. And he said, well, can you point to where it hurts? Can I, just see where, just feel around? And I said, yeah. And he said, okay, we'll take this band and do this stretch a minute on each side every morning. And I went home and I told Scott, I was like, you're not going to believe this. I said, my elbow doesn't hurt anymore. And then it was just a few weeks ago, and I came on a Monday and I said, I have been trying everything at home with a roller, with stretches, with everything, and there's something wrong with my hip. And he said, well, are you sure it's your hip? I'm like, well, this is where it's hurting. And I had a personal session that week that I was going to cancel. He said, don't cancel, come in, we'll work on that, and we'll work on, some other things. And I don't have any pain in my hip. And you hear these things, but it's really true. It works.
So what she was having some sciatica pain, which there's multiple pinpoints that it could hit along that nerve route. And so when she said she's been stretching and nothing's fixing it, I was like, okay, well, it's obviously not in the hip. So you came in. I can't remember if I think we started with the hamstring because that's a common spot for that pain to happen. But so we just tested and we retested. So we did 3 like muscle shearing movements, so basically like foam rolling. And then after we got the tissues warmed up, then we did some stretching, and we just tested and retested. So it was, did that feel better, yes or no? And there were a couple where you were like, actually, I don't feel anything. I was like, okay, cool. We're going to throw that out. We got to find the ones that are going to make us feel better. And what we actually found was you had some tightness in your like mid back that was causing that pulling. And I mean, you left feeling better, but you went home. You probably did the stretches for a couple of days, and no pain in a couple of weeks, right? Yeah.
It's not an immediate thing, but that nothing is really immediate. You just have to keep.
And then Scott, you were having, was it hip pain?
Yeah, well, it was just getting to depth in squats. I was having some hip issues and knee. And then, we did those stretches, and it was like night and day. And that was pretty much immediate.
I remember you looking at me and you're like, this works.
Yeah.
Because, well, we were doing banded distractions, basically like pulling the joint to its end capsule and then trying to get some motion into it. And at the time you're doing it, you're like, this is not really fun. We're holding it for 2 minutes at a time, so it's a lot of time. And then afterwards, I mean, your squat you probably got 6 inches deeper in your squat.
Yep.
And I remember how excited you were to see that happen. That is something that we can sit back and we can try to guess what's wrong and try to fix it on our own. But when you have someone with the ability to help, we can usually fix it within 20 to 30 minutes. I try to tell all of our members, like, if you ever have an issue, you're struggling with something, just please tell me because I can usually fix it. If I can't fix it, I will refer you. And there has been a couple of times where someone said, hey, I got this pain. I'm like, unfortunately, that's outside of my area of expertise. So, and I always say, I'm not a doctor, but it's crazy how this stuff works. So, we are almost 30 minutes into this. So I always ask everyone when we're leaving off, what's some advice you would give to someone who's looking to get started? Think about someone who is in your shoes 3 years ago.
Just do it. Don't think about it. Come in, do your workout, and don't worry about how long it's going to take you. Just clear your mind. If you're worried about the money, then stop spending money on something else. Like, prioritize this over something frivolous that you're going to spend money on every month. Because I know that it is a monetary commitment, but you're investing in yourself. And if you have kids, you want to be around for them. And it's important. If you just come and give it a chance.
Yeah, do it. For your family and yourself too. But like Patricia said, it's good to set a good example for our kids. And I know with me, I wish I wouldn't have waited. Obviously, I wish I wouldn't have. Don't put it off even a day because with me, that day didn't change anything. So I still continue those bad habits that day. When I could have, came down and signed up and started to change my life. And, I get emotional a lot of times when I think about where I am today versus where I was, 2 or 3 years ago. And to think, had I not come down here, it's hard to tell where I could be, right. Because I was headed down a pretty bad path as far as my diet and my weight and, blood pressure and So, it's extremely important to take care of yourself and to find a place like this where people encourage you. And, I wouldn't wait. Sorry, that was a long way around to get to one point, but.
No, that's good. I mean, it is true. You probably saved your life coming in here.
Yeah.
Like, it might have been 10 years down the road, but obviously some of the health things, the scares that you've had are things that probably shouldn't be happening in our early 40s.
Yep.
And the problem is not all CrossFit gyms are created equal. And so we often hear, well, I did CrossFit before and I didn't really like it. And I'm like, you got to try what we do because ours is totally different. And I wish that was the standard, to be honest. I wish there was a standard when it comes to CrossFit because the methodology does work. It's the best thing for longevity, for everyday life. But just unfortunately, not all gyms are like that. So I'm glad you guys found us. Anything else you would like to leave off with?
Devin has an AED.
we do. Real quick. So when Scott emailed me, I thought you were a scammer, and because I get those all the time, like,
right.
Hey, I want to get my 6 kids into CrossFit.
Yeah.
But he shared his story, and he had the blood clot, and he had went to the owner at the other gym that he went to. There are several CrossFit gyms in the area too, so we won't name names, but he asked, hey, do you have an AED on site because it would make me feel safer? And the owner looked at him and laughed and said, we don't need that stuff here. And he told me this story. I honestly did not realize we should have one, but I emailed one that day. You did not become a member. I still had never met you in person.
Right.
If it can save one life, I'm willing to do it. And so, I appreciate that because now we have one here and we have one at Ground Zero. Yeah, and
and not to say that they have these things all over. So they have them at schools just in case there's a cardiac event. And at that time, the shape I was in, I was concerned that a cardiac event was possible. But we have one here now, and I kind of take pride in the fact that I kind of helped get that here, but then also it showed a lot from Devin, having never met me. It was less than 24 hours later, he sent me a picture of the one that he ordered. And that says a lot. That speaks volumes for someone to listen to a stranger's story off the street and to make an investment like that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, they are not cheap either.
No, they are not.
Yeah, but I think that's a good way to end it. What do you guys think?
I think so.
Sounds good.
Thank you for your time. We'll see y'all next week.